Let's call this meeting to order. This meeting is being recorded. I would ask if there's anyone else recording this meeting. Seeing none, if you'd please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. I don't see any citizens for citizens' comments. Anyone at home? No, doesn't look like it. In that case, we'll move right on to special recognitions, and for that, I will turn it over to Dr. Chamberlain.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This evening, we recognize John Robert Anderson, 62 of Millbury, but formerly of Auburn, who passed away peacefully at his home with his wife and son at his side on January 23, 2022. He was a co-founder, writer, and photographer for the Auburn Mass Daily, contributing articles and photographs on all things Auburn. He especially enjoyed following Auburn sports, and you can find John at most Auburn high school games. John was a wonderful supporter of all of our schools and was always willing to post, share, and write about the happenings in the Auburn Public Schools. For many years, John was an Auburn Town Meeting member and a representative on the Auburn Open Space Committee. He also coached Auburn youth soccer. And if we could, just take a moment of silence for John. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for those kind words, and I'd just like to add just a little bit to that. John was a great guy and a friend to Auburn and a friend to all politics in Auburn and probably all of us on this committee, and he'll be dearly missed. He was with me for this is my 10th year, the whole time, every campaign, always there taking pictures, looking for comments, and always trying to do right by the town. So he will be dearly missed, I think, by this committee, many committees in town, as well as all town leadership and residents. So rest in peace, my friend. I would now entertain a motion to accept the minutes of 12/1, 1/5/22, and 1/19/22.
I'll make that motion.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote.
It's 12:15, not 1.
What's that?
12:15.
Oh, I probably should have put my glasses on for that.
Yes. I don't know if
All
we
right.
need it for the record.
Well,
Well,
thank
let's
you
get
for
the
that.
checks to have him sign them.
Thank you for that clarification, but I can clearly read student representatives' report, and I think we have a couple of student representatives, Allie and Jasmine. Can you young ladies hear me? Allie and Jasmine?
Up there,
Oh, there they are.
You're going to come in on mute.
Welcome. Which one of you would like to start?
Good evening. I can go
Okay.
if Al.
Allie, you okay with that? She says yes. Thumbs up.
Perfect. So I have a few things to report on today. The first one being our AP Gov students had their We the People competition over the weekend, and they came in third for the state competition, which was really great. So we're super proud of them. That class is just seniors. So, like I said, we're just really proud of them. They worked really hard despite inclement weather. They actually weren't able to do it in person. They had to do it over a Zoom call, but they improvised, they got it done. So it was really great for them. And then we recently had a basketball game in memory of Mr. Bedard. And I believe that just over $700 was raised in memory of him, which is really incredible that everyone could come together in the community to do that, especially at our basketball game. And then another thing I wanted to mention was that at the high school, we have a club that it's a little bit more recent, and it's Students for Diversity. And I know that they've had a difficult time kind of getting it off the ground and running just with different schedules. It was difficult to find a time for everyone to meet, but they've successfully formed the club. And I know right now they're working on, I believe, informational kind of lesson plans for Black History Month, which is really great. So that's, I guess, kind of what's going on at school right now. And other than that, I know that ski club is going on and people are really loving that, especially because of the pandemic. It hasn't been able to happen for a couple of seasons. I know that it's canceled this week due to weather problems. But other than that, I think everyone has really been enjoying it. I believe they have, after this week is rescheduled, they'll have 2 weeks left. And that's it.
Oh, that was a lot. And congratulations to those students who placed third at the state level. That's awesome. Great to hear. Even under the circumstances where they had to zoom in, but I think we're all used to zooming now, so it probably wasn't terrible, but just not as great of an experience. Now, Jasmine, were you a part of that team?
I was not a part of that team. I did not take AP Gov this year, but a lot of my friends are in it, so I'm proud of them. I was working, but they were working hard too.
That's excellent. How about you, Allie?
Yeah, I'm on ski club, so unfortunately it's canceled this week, but we do have 2 weeks left, and that's definitely been something that everyone's been really enjoying. I might have mentioned this last time, but we also have a ski trip this year to Jay Peak, so that will be taking place in March, so that's another fun thing to look forward to. Recently, Mr. DeLongchamp announced that we'll be having a winter carnival this year, the week before February vacation, which is exciting because that happened for me my freshman year, but then we didn't have it last year, obviously, because of COVID. As for sports, Jasmine mentioned the game that was held in Mr. Bedard's honor. I know the boys hockey team and girls hockey team are both doing well. And for indoor track, they recently just had Swickle and they have districts like a couple weekends from now.
Excellent.
I think that's pretty much everything though.
Well, the two of you covered a lot. Do we have any questions for our student representatives? No, seeing none, I guess.
I forgot. I did have one other thing to add.
Uh-oh.
Recently at the high school, Mr. DeLongchamp announced that we're going to be participating in a new incentive where he's announcing a Rocket of the Week. So the teachers vote each week on a student that they believe just goes above and beyond and really demonstrates all of the morals that is expected of HS students. And then at the end of the week, they're announced over the intercom during morning announcements right after the Pledge of Allegiance. And they just announce the student and everybody claps and congratulates whoever was considered the student of the week just because of all their hard work. And then I do believe they get an award, whether that's a gift card to Dunkin' Donuts or what have you. I think they are rewarded for it, but even just having the mention is a great honor in and of itself. So that's the other thing I forgot.
I think that's excellent, and I hope that both of you have an opportunity to do that. And maybe we could supply some sort of a colorful blazer or something for that person to wear for the rest of the day. Would that be an honor or something that probably they wouldn't enjoy?
Are you going to go shopping for this blazer?
Yeah, well, I probably have one in my closet. No, thank you so much for that report. That's excellent news. It sounds like everything's going great, and we're getting back to some sense of normalcy here within the school district and abroad. So much appreciated. Excellent report as always. And you ladies have a wonderful evening.
Hi, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great kids.
We are.
Yeah.
And we now move on to the superintendent's report.
Wonderful, Mr. Chair. So I'll give you a brief COVID update. As I hope you know from the emails I've been sending out, we are seeing better days, right? Hopefully still better days yet ahead. But for a little context, last Monday, we reported 41 positive COVID cases. Just this past Monday, it was only 24. Yesterday was only 4, and today reported 8. So it will be, I'm sure, a little up and down as we move forward, but at least it's trending in the right direction. Things are definitely settling in. The nurses' offices seem to be slowing a little bit. Hopefully next week will slow a lot more than that once we move over to the new testing program. But really good signs ahead, so that's great. And regarding the new testing program, we have 330 staff who have opted in to the new program, and 1,334 students who have opted in. I think that's a tremendous turnout. As we move forward, people will still be able to sign up. That information will be forthcoming. But it was a really robust response, I think. So all those test kits were distributed to schools today. Some went home today for students, some will go home tomorrow. I sent out all the directions and all of that for participation, but we're very excited about what that means for us. And so once we start the new testing program for everyone on this coming Saturday, next week we'll stop identifying the in-school close contacts. We had another webinar with Desi today. They put out some additional new guidance, like Desi likes to do. And so it does change a little bit, some of what we're doing. That'll be shared in the coming days. I have a meeting with the nursing team tomorrow to go through that. But it changes a little bit, it doesn't change a lot, right? So it's just going to be a little bit different than what we've been doing. So we're excited about it. I think it's going to take tremendous pressure off our nursing staff and even amplify the number of days kids can be in school. So that's what we want. So a lot of good news on that front so far, and hopefully it will stay.
Good.
The next item is the fee schedule review. So at our last meeting, we discussed, we shared with you, Dr. Hanfield had planned to share some of the fee schedules that have been in place for some time. And the one that we looked at most carefully of late, because it has a great impact right now, is what we're paying our substitute teachers. So in the agenda, there is a small table that shows you Auburn's current rates and then some that I'm recommending. But also in your packet is a table that gives you an outline of what neighboring districts are paying their substitutes as well. So that's where the recommendations that we put forward came from. There's a lot of variation, and in some cases, districts pay a sub is a sub. So no matter whether you're a teacher or an IA or whatever, you get paid what they pay their subs. So we do seem to have a bit more variety that way. Not many recognize their retired certified teachers, which I think is a kind of a plus for us that we do that.
Yeah.
And so that's, I put that information before you, and I would welcome any questions or comments.
Any questions or comments?
Through the chair, I agree with the rate increases as noted. And as far as I'm concerned, if the committee agrees, I'd say implement them as soon as we can.
I would just say that I would be okay with slightly edging out some of the other districts with a small token $5 here or there, just so that when people are looking through the numbers, I'm not sure where they find these rates, or if word just gets around. But I don't see any reason why, if we think that we could sustain it, we couldn't go. If, for instance, if Millbury is at $90, why we couldn't be at $95 if that's going to get us, better candidates out of that small pool of substitutes that are out there. So just in a couple of different categories. And I don't think we were intended to vote on this evening, although I'm okay with that, but that would take us discussing and filling in a few more of these categories, I think. But I did say action at the top, but I don't see a motion, so.
Yeah, there's
just-
no rush. So if we want to table this to the next meeting, it's totally fine to be able to look at that and think about it.
I'm fine either way, but I would just like to take a look at it, and like I said, kind of like a bidding war, an auction, if you will. We'll just we'll tack on just a little bit just to make it more appealing for those substitutes, because I know how difficult it is when we're going without substitutes. It takes away from staff responsibilities because they're all over the place. It's a headache for administration. So if that little bit, which I don't think is going to break us in the end financially, is going to help us to get that one or two more subs. And, once they're here, they might realize that, this is where I'd like to stay for a while, and then we may be able to hold on to them for a few years. Unless the bidding war continues, and then we'll have to increase it another $5 next year. But, when you're looking at, when you're comparing apples for apples, because we're as good, I think, as any other school district as far as a place to come and teach, and the quality of our buildings, our staff, our children, our students, I mean, they're going to compare everything else, and they're going to see the extra couple of dollars and say, you know what, why not go there?
Why not
Certainly
Auburn?
not a bad district to work for. So that's just my opinion. So I would just say that we, maybe take another look at these numbers, and in the meantime, if there's any feedback that the committee would like to give based on what we're seeing here, and that suggested maybe $5, you could send an email to Dr. Chamberlain and make those adjustments, and maybe we'll have something different to look at next time. Not that,
That sounds good to me, through the chair. I think I think more is better. I agree. I think we just need to fill the slots,
Yeah.
so whatever it takes.
Are you looking to increase every single one of these?
I'm just looking to make it as appealing as other districts, if not a little bit better in some cases, but
Yeah, if we can sustain it, then.
yeah.
Through the chair, what I like is the difference, between certified and retired. I like having that difference there, but obviously it would depend on the business office and what we can do. Obviously, I'm happy to go up, but I'm not in the business office, so I trust Mrs. Woodsbicky on this stuff.
Well, through the chair, what we can do is, we'll give you a couple of options for the next meeting. With
Okay.
a couple of maybe tiers of what it would cost over the course of a year based on the number of subs we may typically have in, and see what that would run us compared to what we typically have budgeted for subs. And we can go from there,
Okay,
Sounds good.
okay?
sounds good.
Yeah, I think that through the chair sounds great, considering we have such a lean budget to begin with. I would want to make sure we, not scrapping and clawing to implement other things that are important, so.
That makes good sense.
All right. Excellent.
Thank you.
We now move on to new business.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In new business, it's hard to believe, but we're already looking at the calendar for next school year. This is seemingly the time of year that we take a peek at this. We've had a number of calls, as Mrs. Williams has attested to. Folks already asking if it's out, when it's going to be out. The AEA has already, for several weeks, been asking questions as well for teaching staff. So we went through a typical process that we've gone through here in Auburn, where I put together several versions with different variations. Those were presented to the leadership team to take a look at, as well as Ms. Williams, Ms. Wierzbicki. And when we narrowed those down a bit, I also did meet with the AEA, the leadership of the AEA, just to get any feedback from them. Seemingly, everyone's in support. A few of the highlights, just to put out to you, that's a little bit different. Having only one, it's noted as a PD day. It would be a meeting and preparation day at the start of the year versus two, which we usually have to kick off the year. We built in a half-day again for parent-teacher conferences on November 2nd.
Okay.
We extended the January break by having a PD day on January 3rd, giving families a little bit of an extended time, as well as staff a little time to kind of come back into the groove of things. March has always been known as the very longest month of the school year, and we always have one PD in March typically, but we put a half-day prior to it. It would give families a long weekend and give teachers a little bit of a extended PD time in the middle of that month. And this, meets the new This year, it's just 184 days for teaching staff, so it meets that requirement. Yeah, so I welcome any questions you might have or any concerns with any of that. We did put in a half-day in October and another one in May. We really didn't have, we only had one half-day this year. It was very difficult for buildings to have some of their building-based work around data analysis and those kind of things, even though we've gotten much better with using faculty meeting time for that. But it really does give some flexibility, particularly now when we move to this UDL training. It really does bind 3 full days for training for this coming year and one more year after that. So to have those half days, all were in favor of those, including the AEA, that it's just a really good time to be able to get some things done, whether it's tweaking, some assessments for a certain content area at the high school or looking at Dibble scores at the elementary, so.
So through the chair, it's only 2 additional half-days than what we would have done prior
Correct.
to this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we kept in, obviously half-day before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
We left in the half-day before the Christmas break. There was a lot of good feedback about this year.
Yeah.
I don't know how it'll play out next year because of when the holiday shifts to, but we did leave that in as well.
Great.
I would entertain a motion to accept.
I make a motion to accept the proposed school calendar for the 2022-2023 school year.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion on that?
Through the chair, I would just add on the November 2nd, as the parent-teacher conferences, just add that it's a half-day, even though it's yellow. Some of the calendars are black and white.
Okay.
So it'd be, I don't know, I can
So you mean with
picture.
the little, like a little slash through, is that what you mean?
I'd
or-
put a slash, and then where it says parent-teacher conferences, next to it, I would say half-day.
Okay.
Like you did with the other ones, just to make it clear.
Yeah,
And the plan is through the chair that those would be live again? The parent-teacher conferences?
well, hopefully, yeah. Yeah,
Meg, you can't ask that.
I hope, we'll-
Knock on wood?
I know, you don't even want to say it, right? I hope so, yeah.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on.
Okay. The next thing we move forward is the approval to still remain a school choice district for the 22-23 school year. We're required to vote on the continuance of school choice in each district, and this has proven to be an important aspect of our school budget for the last decade. We've welcomed wonderful students in our family to our district through the school choice program, and as we prepare for the FY23 budget, I recommend that we continue this program. The number of students to be accepted into the district will be determined as we get closer to March. Previously, just to review, we typically have a total of about 100 school choice seats, with 70 or so at the high school, about 30 at the middle school. Currently, we have 13 applications for our spots at our middle school and 11 for the 9th grade at Auburn High School. It seems, based on when kids come and go, we'll have about 35 spots for the coming year. So that's where we sit right now.
So is it time for people to put in their application?
It is. We'll be accepting those through March 31st.
And can they come in like for sophomore year at high school, or does it have to be 9th grade?
No, they can come in at other times. I
Oh, they can.
think typically when kids start, right, they usually start in their freshman year.
Sure.
Right, but yep.
Okay.
It's been a great addition to our programming and to our student body, for sure.
I would agree with that. I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to continue the school choice program in the Auburn Public Schools and allow the superintendent to decide what the number of students in the district will be after reviewing demographic data more closely.
And I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. It is a vote. Okay, moving on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Auburn Lodge of Elks, 2118, presented Brian Davis, our athletic director, with a $200 donation to help defray the cost of commemorative T-shirts, which were purchased for the Tarantino Cup varsity football game. recommend that we accept that donation.
I would entertain that motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept with gratitude the donation of $200 from the Auburn Lodge of Elks.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote.
And another generous donation from Operation Surprise from the Home Depot. Mr. Dustin Krukas, store manager at the Home Depot here in Auburn, nominated Bryn Mawr School for the Operation Surprise Grant Program. Bryn Mawr has been awarded $1,000. The money will go a long way to help support the students, and I recommend that we accept with gratitude this donation.
I would entertain that motion.
I'll make a motion to accept with gratitude the $1,000 from Operation Surprise and the Home Depot.
I'll second that.
Any discussion on that?
Through the chair, I was just curious, how, do they have to use it in a specific way, like towards construction, or?
So that was
do
my
they have to use
same, my question as well. It can be used for anything the school thinks they need.
Oh, great.
They could use it for a luncheon for teachers, and they can use it for books for kids.
Oh, great.
So whatever they think, and that's, I guess, where the word surprise
surprise
comes
is-
from. You can use it for whatever you need. It was focused primarily initially on military families and supporting that kind of thing, but since the pandemic, they've expanded it to support school districts.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Lovely. Thank you.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it is a vote. And we now move on to teaching and learning.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I did want to share with you a new program that'll be starting at Auburn High School called First Robotics. It first stands for Inspire and Recognition of Science and Technology, dubbed the Varsity Sport of the Mind. Combines the excitement of sports with the rigors of science and technology. So they have, time, limited resources, very specific parameters. They have to design a brand, hone their teamwork skill, and build and program a robot to perform prescribed tasks against a field of competitors. I don't know if you've ever watched that on. Yes. So it's very close to real-world engineering. Professional mentors volunteer their time and guide them. The robots are built in 6 weeks from a common kit of parts provided by First and typically weigh up to 150 pounds. This year, we're joining a team through Sutton. We were invited to jump on their team with them, but we're hoping in the future that Auburn will muster their own team through this same program. This is one of those things you kind of get your foot in the door, and then they bring you on board. But the turnout was really positive as far as student interest goes. They did bring a robot to the high school to show them how it worked, so a lot of excitement and a lot of buzz about this program. So it's going to be great.
Through the
Excellent.
chair, I have a very excited freshman in my house. It's ready to go on Saturday. So
Yeah.
for that
Yeah,
one.
good. So really a great program.
That's great.
And just to share, so of late, I will tell you that our Encore program, which started here, a couple of years ago, for our students who have moved on from Auburn High School, the program is growing in such a way, and I will tell you that the distribution of PPE and COVID tests could not have happened without the associates in that program. But that's only one little thing, right? That's been recent, and it's had a huge impact on what we can do. But they're currently attending 14 vocational sites. Some work independently at the vocational sites, running a dishwasher, they do meal prep. Our food service department has been so generous with time and opportunities for them. Some work at Park and Shop, we have Big Lots. Mrs. Querion has expanded the program tremendously to give these students real-world experiences that once they leave us will make them equipped to kind of carry on their own. And nonetheless, it's been a great addition to our building, I think, because it's been so nice to have to have some of our kids, even though they're not kids anymore, here with us, whether they're cooking in the kitchen and delivering, what did we have last time, cinnamon waffles that they brought around, or all the things that they do. But it's amazing how a little seed of a program where we only had a few kids has really blossomed into something that has such a tremendous impact on the participants, but on our community as well. So I just wanted to give them a shout out. I gave them a big thank you for their work today, because I don't know how we would have gotten those test kits out, but they just did a great job. And the program is, we have a lot to be proud of.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
That's great to hear. Thank you for that report. And now we move on to business and financial.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So, the governor released the preliminary FY 2023 Chapter 70 aid and net school spending requirements on January 26th. The proposed funding for Auburn looks to be favorable in supporting our proposed FY 23 budget, but the House budget and the Senate budget will still need to be released. Dr. Chamberlain and I will continue to collaborate with Town Manager Jacobson and CFO Kazanovitz as information comes forward. So stay tuned for more updates to come. And I can answer any questions if you have anything with regard to Chapter 70 or.
Any questions?
Just keep our fingers crossed.
Right.
Right. I mean, we came in favorable, and we'll see how it moves down the road, but it was looking good for us. Next, I've placed in your packet a copy of the proposed 2022-2023 school year busing application. The fees will remain at 100 for those students who have to pay, which is grades 7 through 12 and grades K through 6 who live less than 2 miles from the school they attend, with a family cap of $250 as what we've had in the past. The late fee will continue as well at $100 per student with no cap. So depending upon how many students there are in a family, if the application is late, each student will be charged the $100 fee. So we try to encourage people to get the applications in. And in that realm, we had really good success last year with the Zip Slip program. And we felt that it was more convenient for families, so we're going to continue again with that for the collection of the registration forms. I mean, we'll still take paper forms if parents need to do that, but the Zip Slip seems to be helpful because they can go online and do it and just get it all done. We'll continue to accept payments only at the Central Administration Building, 5 West Street, or through the Unipay online payment system. The due date will remain as June 1st, which we've had in the past, so June 1st of 2022. And all students, regardless of whether payment is required, need to be registered by filling in a new form for the coming school year. So, but I just was looking for your approval on the busing application, and I answer any questions you may have.
I would entertain that motion.
Make a motion to approve the bus application for the 2022-2023 school year as presented.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Any discussion on that?
Looks good. No problem here.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It is a vote.
Thank you so much. And lastly, I provided a year-to-date budget report dated January 26, 2022, with a listing of transfers between the same series for your information, and a listing of transfers between different series for your approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I would entertain that motion.
Making a motion to approve the list of transfers dated January 26, 2022, as presented by the business manager.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It is a vote.
Okay, and that's my report, and thank you very much.
Thank you. That was wonderful. And is that all we have for business this evening, Dr. Chamberlain?
It is.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Anyone like to discuss that?
Gail, you want to stay for a while?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There's a vote. Good night, everyone.